action figure enthusiasts out there? JC here with another TNI news video. Now, today's video, I'm going to be focusing on all things Star Wars. We just had the big Celebration convention this weekend, so that's really where my focus is going to be on. I'm going to be talking about some of the toy reveals as well as the entertainment end of reveals. You know, the big news out of the convention was we got the title finally for Episode 9, as well as the teaser trailer. The movie, you know, in case you've been living under a rock for the last several days, is called The Rise of Skywalker. Now, that's brought up a lot of questions of who it's referring to. You know, Luke died, obviously, in the last movie, of course. You know, I believe he is actually going to be in this movie and probably will be a Force ghost, similar to, like, Yoda and Obi-Wan. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But I don't think the title is referring to Luke Skywalker. I don't think it's referring to Anakin. I think it's referring to Rey, and this is just my theory, but I think Rey is a clone. I think she was created by Emperor Palpatine. I think, you know, she has the DNA of the Skywalkers. I don't think she's the daughter of Luke or anything like that, but I think she has the DNA of the Skywalkers, and therefore she is the Skywalker that's going to be rising up. Now, is Palpatine still alive? We hear him laughing at the end of the trailer. The actor was at the Episode 9 panel, so obviously he's going to appear and have some kind of role in the movie, but is he actually still alive? You know, he could appear as like a flashback scene as Rey is searching for answers of her creation and all that. You know, he could have a role in that simply and be dead now, but you know, as we learn the past, you know, look to the past for the answers, you know, he could appear that way. He could still be very much alive. Maybe they're going to go the route of the comics where he created clone bodies and he's been manipulating and pulling the strings, which would kind of explain why, you know, the First Order is essentially the Empire, only with a different name and everything. You know, Snoke could have just been a lackey that you know, Palpatine was controlling, very similar to what he did with Darth Maul and other Sith over the years, Dooku and such. So that would kind of explain a lot of stuff if Palpatine is still alive in like a clone body, and probably why he's been creating things like you know, I think he created Anakin to begin with, and now Rey, and you know, maybe because he's been, you know, trying to create the ultimate powerful body so that he could put his own essence into it and essentially live forever, which is kind of what his end game seems to always have been, is immortality. We'll have to wait and see. Now, besides the trailer reveal and the title of the movie, that's pretty much it for Episode 9 news that we got. We did not get any toy reveals from this convention for Episode 9, which I'm not surprised. I mentioned this in a previous video that I really didn't think we were going to see any Episode 9 toys. I actually got it confirmed from Hasbro at this convention that the majority, if not all of the reveals for Episode 9 toys will not be until the Triple Force event, which is in October this year. So they're going to try and hold everything back until then. Maybe they'll have like one reveal or something at San Diego, but they essentially said, you know, they're going to be at San Diego. They will have a panel, but don't expect much in the way of new toy reveals for San Diego Comic-Con when it comes to Star Wars stuff. So just be warned with that. And again, they're going to try and hold everything until Force Friday in October. I hate that. I think it does not seem to have worked very well. I don't know why. I mean, this is Disney's doing. This isn't really Hasbro. Hasbro has to go along with what Disney says. So this is really Disney's doing. But, you know, they think it makes it more impactful if they hold everything until the last possible minute. I don't agree with that. I think it's stupid. I think they should be, especially with the state that Star Wars really kind of seems to be in these days, which is, as most people describe it, a state of fatigue. You know, a lot of people just have fatigue of Star Wars. Even Mark Hamill's quoted as saying that he feels Star Wars is suffering from fatigue. Now, others will say that it's just because Disney has been putting out bad movies. That's debatable, and people certainly spend a lot of time on the internet debating that. But as it is, you know, they are definitely going to be holding the product reveals for the new movie until essentially for the Triple Force event in October. Now, that being said, as far as toys go, we did get a few reveals at this convention, which actually probably got more than I was really expecting. but it was more so with things like the Galaxy Edge, which is the theme park, Star Wars theme park thing. They're going to be doing a bunch of toys. Various companies are doing toys for that, and all of that stuff is going to be available when that attraction opens and such. So I'm going to go over that in just a minute, but before I get into the toy end of things, the one other thing I wanted to talk about that was we got details on at the convention on the entertainment front was the new Mandalorian television series, which is coming to the Disney Plus service. I talked about this in the last video. It's officially going to be launching in November 12th. So they're going to have Marvel shows and they're going to have Star Wars shows. This is going to be the first ever live action Star Wars TV series. And so that in its own right is pretty interesting. And it's going to be based on, the Mandalorians, which is where Boba Fett's armor comes from. No indication, nobody asked that I'm aware of, and no indication of, will Boba Fett appear in this show? Is Boba Fett still alive? I really don't know. But this series is actually going to be focusing on a new character played by the actor Pedro Pascal, which you might know from Netflix series like Narcos and such, and he's going to be playing the character simply called Mandalorian, and so he's a bounty hunter type character. He's hired, I think as it starts out, he's hired to go after some product for another new character played by Carl Weathers, this was another thing announced about the series. He's going to be in it from the Rocky movies and such, and he's going to be playing a character where he essentially is running this bounty hunter guild, and he hires the Mandalorian to go after some product that he's trying to get his hands on. So his character is called Greef Karga, and then another character I don't know if they first introduced here, but is named Cara Dune, who's played by Gina Carano. I think I'm saying that name right. And she's playing essentially an ex-rebel shock trooper. Now, this series is going to take place between the events of Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, which I think is good. We definitely, I think, feel like we need some more light shined on this period of time between Return of the Jedi and the Last Jedi, or Force Awakens, I mean. And right now, the only thing that we've gotten in that time period is the Star Wars Resistance animated series, which I tried watching that thing, and I've liked all the other Star Wars cartoons. I like Rebels, I like Clone Wars and everything, but this one just, I know they were making it trying to get younger kids more involved, and I won't say it was horrible, but it was not holding my attention. So I really have not watched even the second part of the first season, any of the episodes with that. But at this point, that's really been the only thing that has been set in that time period. This, I think, takes place a little closer to the events of Return of the Jedi, at least starting out, and then maybe builds towards The Force Awakens. Again, will Boba Fett be in it? Will other characters, other Mandalorians that we've seen in like the Rebels cartoon and things like that? Sabrine, will she be in it? Will they create a live action version of Sabrine and have her in it? I don't know. Jon Favreau, who actually voiced a Mandalorian in the cartoons, is the man essentially behind this series. Also probably best known for directing like the first Iron Man movie and such, and has been a player in the Marvel Cinematic Universe really since day one. So he's been working on the show, he's writing it and stuff like that. Dave Filoni, which is been behind a lot of the cartoons and stuff, Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff. He's directing the first episode, and so this series seems like it's in good hands. I'm actually probably more excited for this series right now, at least, than the new movie. But and again, that's going to premiere in November when the new streaming service launches, November 12th. So, and Mandalorian ship is called Razor Crest. So, throw that, and we got to look at that as well. They showed a teaser for it, but they didn't allow recording. I've seen some people who I guess snuck recordings from the panel yesterday for the for the series who snuck it up online, but I think, you know, those have since been pulled, so you might see it pop up here and there on social media, but they did not officially release the teaser reel. It didn't really show a whole lot. It showed the Mandalorian, you know, entering a room or something along those lines, and they released some images as well. So I'll put a link to all the details for that if you want to get more information and see get a better look at the images and everything. But again, as far as like the content, the entertainment end of things, I'm probably more excited for that than I am the new movie at this point. Not that I think the new movie is going to be bad. I don't, and I am excited for episode 9. Okay, now getting on to the toy end of things. So I'm going to be focusing on just the Hasbro stuff in this video. There were a couple other reveals outside of Hasbro. Lego announced a new set based on Princess Leia's cruiser from episode 4 and also Rogue One. And Funko announced a new pop vinyl figure for the Galaxy's Edge, a droid figure. And then there was also some Disney Park exclusive droid packs that they showed off, some color change droid packs and a new droid factory. So I will put links to all those stories if you want to get more details on those. But for today, I'm going to be focusing primarily on the Hasbro reveals. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, Hasbro did not show off any new Episode 9 toys, nor did they show off any toys for the Mandalorian TV series. Those won't be coming until later, until October primarily. And even though they didn't show off any toys, they did indicate that they would be doing some product for the Mandalorian TV series. And then also for the Jedi Fallen Order video game, we did get a look at the teaser trailer for that, and that's coming from Electronic Arts. And while there was no showing of any toys there, I do want to mention that GameStop put up this weekend for pre-order a game/figure bundle set. They did not give us any details of what the actual figure is, other than it will be based on a character from the Jedi Fallen Order video game. And as of right now, it looks like the only way you'll be able to get the figure is with the game itself for both Xbox and PlayStation. But I don't know if whatever this figure is will be released separately. Like a lot of usually GameStop exclusives are, they're not bundled up with games. So again, I don't know what the deal. It just says Black Series figure, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm guessing it's probably one of the Stormtrooper characters that we see in the trailer. But again, we'll have to wait and see official details. I tried asking Hasbro to see if they could give us any details. It doesn't make sense to me why you're going to put something up for pre-order but not actually show people what it is that you're pre-ordering. But that's how it generally goes with these things. I guess they assume it doesn't really matter to you. You'll try and get it anyway. But and I will put a link to the GameStop pre-orders if you want to check that out as well. And hopefully we will get some more details on that fairly soon. Hopefully they're not going to wait until October to show us what that figure is. And I do also suspect that there will be some other product for the video game released by Hasbro. But again, no specific details on that at this time. Now, what they did announce this weekend were their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So the first one they announced was for the Black Series line, and it's a new Boba Fett figure. It's actually made to look like the classic Kenner figure. The armor design and colors and everything are made to look like the old Kenner figure, the Rocket Fire jetpack Boba Fett figure, and comes on a classic vintage collection card back. So it is a 6-inch figure. It should have 6-inch articulation and everything, but again, will come on like vintage collection type packaging, and also, it looks like the old Kenner figure as far as the colors and sculpting detail. Now that figure is going to cost about $25. There will be a limited number made available after the show on the Hasbro website, and then they've also said that they're going to be making these available at other conventions that they will be attending throughout the year outside of the United States. I don't have any specific details on exactly which conventions, but they will be making these con exclusives available at other places. And then they even indicated that the figure would be sold by some select Asian retailers, but again, I don't have any specific details on which ones. Besides that, they announced a 3.75-inch Kenner S Darth Vader prototype figure. So this is made to look like the old test figures that were unpainted, had all had multiple colors and stuff. Different limbs had different colors and stuff. So that's what this is supposed to be incorporating. It's going to have special packaging. This is actually not technically a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but it will be first made available there at the Entertainment Earth booth. and then later it will be made available on Target.com. The figure costs $12.99, and again, this is completely a Kenner-esque figure with the Kenner-esque articulation and design and everything. So you know, they announced at Toy Fair back in February they were doing a new line of essentially Kenner figures with the unique Grand Moff Tarkin that's going to come with the board game and such. And this one again is made to look like a prototype figure. And then the final con exclusive they announced is for the Vintage Collection line. So these are the 3.75-inch Vintage Collection, which means they have, you know, modern day, highly articulated figures, but are on packaging that looks like the old Kenner line. I know it gets confusing with all these different retro lines and everything out there, but they're doing a new Luke Skywalker 3-pack. So we're getting Stormtrooper Luke Skywalker, which is going to have a new torso and a head sculpt. We're getting a new Jedi Luke Skywalker, which is going to have a new head, arms, and hands. And then we're getting a new X-Wing Luke Skywalker, and that is a completely new figure. So, and again, it'll come in Vintage Collection type 3-pack packaging. And that one is going to cost, that set is going to cost $49.99. So it is a pretty hefty price tag. And like with the Boba Fett figure, it'll be made available with limited quantities on Hasbro Pulse after the convention, as well as various conventions outside of the United States. Okay, next up we have Emperor Palpatine and his throne. So I teased this in the last news video, and this had leaked out actually earlier in the week, last week. But it ends up this set is going to be an Amazon exclusive. They're the ones that actually leaked it out, but it is confirmed that the set will be an Amazon exclusive. It is now currently up for pre-order. It is Emperor Palpatine, which we've gotten before in the Black Series line. However, the figure is also going to come with his throne, which is probably the coolest thing about this set. And then he will have a total of 3 different head sculpts and then an extra pair of lightning hands. So definitely this is the ultimate Emperor figure. This is going to cost $40. And again, it is an Amazon exclusive and is currently available for pre-order and will be available later this year. And here's a look at the Walgreens exclusive Obi-Wan Kenobi with the clone armor. He's wearing a clone trooper armor from the Clone Wars series. I think we saw this back during New York Comic Con, and I think they even said then that it was going to be a Walgreens exclusive, but definitely it's been confirmed as a Walgreens exclusive. It's going to be out later this year, cost $20. You know, it's a cool figure overall, but also I think this head sculpt will work with your Episode 3 Obi-Wan, so it's a much better looking head sculpt for Obi-Wan, the older Obi-Wan. We're also getting the Episode 1 Obi-Wan Kenobi, which was first released as a Celebration exclusive this weekend, and then will also be released in the upcoming regular wave of Black Series figures. But this one, you know, he's got the beard and everything, so you should be able, I think, take this head sculpt and use it on that previous Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. And again, you know, the whole armor look and everything was pretty cool from the cartoon and such as well. Okay, and then the final new reveals that were made at this convention, which I'm going to talk about today, all revolve around the Galaxy's Edge theme park, the Star Wars theme park. So these are going to be only made available, at least at this time. They're only going to be said to be made available at the theme park. So that is going to make them harder to get, of course. Now, most of these are all multi-packs, but most of them really only incorporate like one new figure. The rest are re-releases or very minor differences of figures that we've already gotten. Now, the one that may be in the most demand is called the First Order set, and it features a Mountain Trooper, which looks very similar to other Stormtroopers that we've gotten, but, you know, again, it is a little bit different. It's called the Mountain Trooper. It's got Kylo Ren. That looks pretty much like the Kylo Ren that we got with the Last Jedi line. And then Mouse Droid, or MSC Droid, they're calling it, but it's essentially a mouse droid. And that we've gotten before, and I don't really even call a figure, even though they kind of listed as a figure in the set. And then the final one is a Commander Fry, and this is essentially a gold First Order Stormtrooper, which to me is kind of a ripoff of the gold Cylons from the old Battlestar Galactica series, though I guess technically they were kind of ripoffs of Stormtroopers from the original Star Wars movie, so I guess everything's come full circle. But, you know, kind of cool a gold clone trooper. I don't know if this is the same guy that actually appears in, I think it is, this guy that actually appears in the Star Wars Resistance cartoon. I think that's where this character first came from. And so again, it's a gold stormtrooper from the First Order. Now, the next 3-pack that we are getting is called Smuggler's Run. So this one, the coolest figure in this set is the new Hondo figure, or I should say the first time we're getting Hondo in the 6-inch form. So if you're not familiar, Hondo is a character that actually originated in the Clone Wars cartoon and has also been in the Rebels cartoon. He's kind of a smuggler and has helped the Rebels and Resistance and stuff out. He's kind of like in keeping with like Lando Calrissian and such. So this is definitely the coolest figure in this set. The other figures they list are Porgs. You get 2 Porgs, which were originally released as Target exclusives. Again, I don't really consider as actual figures. We're getting a new Rey figure, or this Rey looks pretty similar to ones that we've gotten before, if not exactly. And then another Chewbacca figure, which again we've pretty much gotten before. So again, in this set, really the Hondo figure is the one worth getting. And so you got to get the others to get Hondo. And then the final set that they're doing is called the Droid Depot. So this one, we get C-3PO again, R2-D2 again, BB-8 again, and then the new figure in this set is a character called DJ-3X, which I believe is unique to the Galaxy Edge exhibit. I think this is a droid they specifically created for that. Funko is doing a pop figure of this guy as well. So, yeah, like I said, it's kind of definitely specific to the Galaxy. This one, to me, makes the most sense to do as a Galaxy Edge exclusive, since this guy is essentially exclusive to the theme park. But as it is, like I said, at this time at least, all these 3-packs are only going to be made available there at the Galaxy's Edge, or you're going to have to resort to secondary markets. I don't think, I won't swear 100%, but I don't think these are going to be sold at just normal Disney stores or like on the Disney Shop website. Again, I think these are only going to be made available at the theme park. Now, everything else that they showed and talked about this weekend was all stuff that we've seen at previous conventions, so I'm not going to spend much time on those things. Things like the next wave of Black Series figures with the Ezra and the Chopper and the Dr. Aphra and her 2 assassin droids, the BT-1 and the 000. And those are up for pre-order now at places like Big Bad Toy Store. They went up for pre-order this weekend. Also, the newest wave of vintage collection figures, which we posted news about before, again, we saw at previous conventions, and then just recently posted official images up, and that wave has gone up for pre-order at retailers as well. And that's the one with the Luke Skywalker from Crate and the Death Star Gunner from Rogue One, and a new R2-D2 and the Imperial Assault Tank Commander figure. So again, everything else pretty much that they showed off and such are stuff that we had seen at previous conventions, and it's up for pre-order and should be out pretty soon. Okay, so that's it for today's news. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about. I also would really love to hear your thoughts on just your general thinking of where Star Wars is today. Are you one of those that feel like Star Wars is on a decline, that there's oversaturation, that you're suffering from Star Wars fatigue, or are you super excited for Star Wars? Are you ready for the next thing? Are you in the line of thinking there can never be too much in the way of Star Wars? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you are one of those people that think like Star Wars is on the decline, let me know, why you think that is, and then what is a solution to, changing that? What would get you excited for Star Wars again? So let me know in the comments section. As always, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you're so inclined, hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. You can, of course, follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.